Hello guys, I'm Regina Roveliana Pahu from 07 SIGP 004. In this video, I will explain about the material hypothesis in language learning. In this video, I make a presentation and it is taken in the medium shot and side view. This is because there were several obstacles when making this video. I apologize in advance, and this is an explanation of the hypothesis material based on the material obtained. Hypothesis in language learning. Learning or understanding a second language has started long ago. The second language is a form of interaction of individual process. The second language can also be acquired by people around us and done repeatedly. This teaching starts with children learning their first language, assumes grammar rules and vocabulary lists effectively. The approach and implementation method is an opportunity for teachers to teach based on phonology, linguistics, or pedagogy. The theory of language acquisition is the most influential based on the theory of Stephen Krashen from the University of California. The acquisition learning hypothesis, the monitor hypothesis, the natural hypothesis, the input hypothesis, the affective filter hypothesis are the 5 components of language development according to Krashen. This theory has been introduced since the 1970s. Okay, let me start from the acquisition learning based on the theory of Krashen. The acquisition learning is a language learning that is understood. It made easier with examples when children learn language without awareness or attention to language, forms, and rules. According to Krashen, learning acquisition can be obtained in 2 ways, namely the language of the speaker, which is obtained naturally in their mother tongue, and the language that is obtained when following the learning system school. And next is the monitor hypothesis. The monitor hypothesis is a second language that is acquired directly when involved in spontaneous communication. It's done by acquiring a rule or pattern by monitoring the speaker. Monitoring is carried out in various ways, such as thinking about producing good and correct language. Implementing an editor-monitor system where the learner is an editor trying to produce a new grammar obtained from the monitor. Monitors are language users who have sufficient time to think about and apply the rules they learn. And let's move on to the natural hypothesis. The natural hypothesis is also one of Stephen Krashen's theories. Natural hypothesis is the finding that comes from a second language that is easiest to express and not necessarily the first to be applied. It means how from the natural order to become a second language for students has started. Students are motivated by the acquisition or individual grammar for the existence of language order and structure. And the last is the affective filter hypothesis. The affective filter hypothesis was proposed by Stephen Krashen to explain the fact that a person who is consciously exposed to a large amount to the soul will not necessarily master language. This theory allows students to feel anxious about the input received. This indirectly prevents students from mastering the language to be learned. Based on this theory, this hypothesis explains the factors that hinder the acquisition. Motivation, self-confidence, and anxiety are barriers to students learning a new language. The barrier to this theory is done by influencing information in affective variables, fear, nervousness, boredom, boredom, and rejection are factors from the affective variables that thwart the supporting factors for intake. In conclusion, learning a second language can be obtained from yourself and those around you. This is influenced by the structure of the language and the structures that receive. Acquisition learning applies several forms or rules that are for development. The development learns a language that is easy to understand. However, language information can be impeded if it's involved in the affective filtering hypothesis.